Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I'm joined here by Jake Circus of the Jake Circus podcast, and this is week 13's recap of Jungle Talk, and you know, uh, too many turnovers, too many penalties. We said we needed to be 6-1 coming out of the bye, uh, and we're 0-2. So much for the playoffs. Our season mercifully comes to an end in terms of postseason relevance, and just shaking your head on what could have been this year. I mean, before you say anything, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. We do the previews, we do recaps right after the game for you. So just support the channel and give us the thumbs up on the YouTube. Helps us out with the analytics. And Jake, tell them where they can find your stuff.
Yep, Jake Circus Pod on Spotify after the holidays. We'll be back recording one tonight, going through everything that's happened in college football and week we're in 13 in the NFL. So yeah, we'll be back with an episode tomorrow morning.
So, all right. What else is there to say? I mean, just disappointing year and disappointing game here. Um, what was the final score? I mean, we put up like 40 points, 38 points.
Yeah, 44-38. One of those both teams had a defensive touchdown, so 41-30, or I guess 37-31 in terms of offensive points.
No. Just you just can't get, and I think we gave up 500 yards to the Steelers. I was looking at the half. By the way, the over under on this game was 47. Okay, which hit at halftime. Just to say, we gave up. There was no punts in the first half, and we gave up over 300 yards of offense. To the Steelers. 310 yards, 36 plays. I that's not a winning combination to get out there. I mean, I go back to stuff we talked about. Let's sign T. Let's extend Chase. Let's get Chase and T signed, and there's nobody on defense. We need to extend. We need to spend our money. We'll draft defense and let's extend those offensive players. So, just there's just it's just inexcusable. I don't know what to, I know Logan Wilson was out. He was a late scratch. I saw he didn't practice all week, so I didn't hold out hope that he was going to play. But just an absolutely pathetic defensive performance. We made Russell Wilson look like Dan Fouts out there today. I mean, it was just a joke. So
It was the best. I mean, I have to look at it, but I would not be surprised at all based on some of these numbers. Sorry. I think that that was the best Steelers offensive performance since Big Ben retired. Sorry, some video just popped up on my laptop. But yeah, I think that was the best offensive performance the Steelers have had since Big Ben retired.
yeah, no,
This is a schematically bad Steelers offense. And like they weren't really doing anything that was necessarily schemed open. It was a lot of just taking what the Bengals were giving them, and the Bengals were tackling very poorly and
oh,
allowing, I mean,
horrible
just way too
tackling.
many open guys underneath.
Yeah, well, we rushed three, and this is in the second half. We rushed three, drop back into coverage, and somehow lose track of Fryermuth in the middle of the field. I mean, how do you lose track of that guy? I just and tell me if you agree with this or not. Didn't it seem like the Bengals were confused a lot of the day? How many times did we see on defense and special teams players running on and off the field last minute? I mean, we even got caught. I felt like the theme of our whole season has been second and short because that's what our opponent's always been in. Even when we got a good first down stop, we give away 5 yards with too many men in the huddle. I mean, it just seemed like that we were constantly having guys running on and off last minute, like we didn't know what we were doing. So, especially on defense. I just shake my head. That's all you can do is just shake your head with this team. So,
Yeah, I mean, injuries. injuries have killed him, but the players who have supposed to step up, they haven't, and no one has on all levels. I mean, the injuries up front, there's been no one that's been able to generate a pass rush. Russ was escaping sacks like he was Seahawks Russ today. Um, I mean, that one that he broke off of Hubbard that should have been, a much better chance of a sack that he just contorted his body and threw it up the seam to a wide open frame. I mean, that was it's embarrassing. I mean, this is again, I'll say it again, like this offense the Steelers have is not built for offensive outputs like this. Um, and say what you want about the Bengals offense. Obviously, they came to play today.
Right,
Burrow's EPA won't necessarily replicate the way he played because of the fumble and the interception that I don't remember if it was his fault or not. I have to go back and watch it. I think it looked like it was tipped at the line, but
right.
I mean these numbers for the Steelers, both like the total yards, the yards per play, and then the EPA and success rate stuff is, I mean, a 99th percentile game for any team, let alone a Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith offense in 2024.
Yeah, no, it's just when that play happened, and I don't know if either Burrow threw high and behind T or if the ball was tipped. But when that play happened, I thought game over. We needed to jump out. Had to keep matching scores because at no point had we shown that we could stop the Steelers. So, and then you add to that, we
They
actually
didn't
did,
punt until the fourth quarter.
yeah, and we actually did get we got some stuff with the block field goal, and we did get a stop on downs, not on downs, but we did force a punt. And then we turn around and get the strip sack, and give up the 7 there. So it just, like I said, it's just what could have been because this team had everything going for it coming into the season. So has to just be disappointing. So um, yeah, like I said, you just shake your head. So Burton, on some other notes, Burton was returning kicks today in the first half. He actually did a decent job doing that, for what it's worth. So
Yeah, I mean, if he's not gonna catch passes, he might as well try to return kicks. I mean, maybe he can return punts too. I don't Had no idea who was returning punts today. Steelers only punted one time, but I can tell you that Trent Irwin is not the future punt returner of the team.
no,
I
no,
mean, you
no.
wouldn't
Well,
know because he didn't force any punts today.
Charlie Jones is still
Was it
out.
Jones
So.
today?
No, no, no. Charlie Jones is
It
out
was
still. So it was Irwin back there.
Gotcha.
I think it was Irwin. It
Yeah.
definitely wasn't Burton on the punt return. But he had some decent kick returns today. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Too many turnovers, too many penalties. Horrible. Not bad. Absolutely horrible tackling. It was amazing how we made Warren look like even when he came in to spell Harris, we made him look like the next coming of Gale Sayers sometimes the way he was running through us. I just like I said, you just shake your head. Second and short seems to be like the theme because every time they were in second and less than 5, and if they weren't, we put them in there with a penalty. So just can't win games this way. You just can't. So.
I
Um,
mean, they missed. We missed. I don't know if they missed him because had showed no effort to re-sign him. But they missed DJ Reader, man. That
yeah,
that 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 guy was a one-man push crew. Uh, and without him, I mean, we saw the effects when he missed games with injuries, but now
yeah,
season long, we're seeing it's very clear how much they miss DJ. That 31-year-old, I think, is 31-year-old DJ Reader, how important he was to this team.
yeah. No, no, no. And he actually played pretty good on Thanksgiving. He's making plays for Detroit now.
He was a
So
beast.
yeah. So um,
And
you know, now and you know what frightens me the most? I really want Zach gone. Um, but what frightens me the most is we'll win the next 3 games. And they'll point to that and say, "Oh, see, that's Taylor's got his act together." But I mean, we're talking about what are we playing? Dallas, Tennessee, and Cleveland. I mean, but I don't even know if we win the next 3. Oh, isn't our next game the Monday nighter against Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, are we sure we're beating Dallas?
No,
Like,
I not the way Dallas looked pretty good. So I don't know if stopping it. Grant, today would have been different if Logan Wilson had played. A lot of the stuff over the middle. He's better in coverage. Gaither had a lot of penalties today. Made a couple plays, but he's not Logan Wilson. So maybe it's a different game, or maybe it's a little closer game. But you can't overcome the bad tackling. You can't overcome the turnovers. You can't overcome all the penalties. And we got our share of penalties. Man, Joey Porter Jr. was a penalty machine for us today. I mean, it was
Porter gave us field position every play.
yeah. So it's the only penalty that really went against us was the they called us cap on motion when it should have been offsides, and that gifted 3 points to the Steelers before half. But you could argue that we should have had a penalty on our first pick six. Although I thought that was in the first 5 yards, I thought the blow to the head would have been pretty ticky tack. So that's why I think they let it go because it was the first 5 yards. But the Steelers clearly jumped in the in the lane, but that's not the reason we lost the game today. It's just not. So, you know,
No, I mean, I thought it was illegal contact on the pick six that wasn't called. And then they started calling all the pass interference and holding penalties. I mean, they called every defensive back today for at least one penalty, pretty much.
right.
But yeah, that false start on Kappa was dumb. But I mean, it doesn't in the grand scheme of things. Like when you don't force a punt until you're down 10 in the fourth quarter, you can't complain about anything in the game besides that.
No, no. So, I don't know where what we do in the offseason. We'll have plenty of shows to talk about that in terms of drafting heavy in the defense. And like I
They
said,
have drafted heavy on the defense.
yeah, but I'm drafting,
Nine of
not
their last
missing.
top 100 picks.
Yeah, not missing on
Well,
the defense. Not.
something's got to change. I mean, whose fault is it? It's not our fault.
No, I
If
know.
I mean, if the same guys are continue to make the picks, then history says they're going to keep failing. I mean, who's the last? Is Logan Wilson the last star player, great player, franchise cornerstone that they've drafted? I
Yeah,
mean, I can name two in the last 5 years: Jesse Bates, who's gone, and Logan Wilson. Who
right,
else have they drafted? That's on the defense. That's a cornerstone player. They let one of them walk. I'm
right.
like,
Yeah, no. Shaking my head. That's all you can do as a Bengal fan is shake your head. So there you have it. Do you have anything else you want to add? I mean, I don't have anything positive to say because there other than we put up 38 points. There's really nothing else positive. But when you give up 44, that's not a win. That's a loss. So uh,
I the only positive that I can think. I mean, I don't know. Do we think that Burrow playing and Burrow wasn't amazing today with the ball security? Um, but I don't. I think Burrow continuing to throw the ball this well is actually like a negative because it just makes us look more like a joke. I mean,
how was that a positive?
I'm not saying I wish Burrow wasn't playing this well, but I mean, I think that the better Joe Burrow plays, and the Bengals are 0-6 now when Joe Burrow throws for 300 yards
Yeah, no,
this
that whole
season.
stat is insane. That you get three. Now today he had an interception, but I mean he had those two games with over 300, three TDs, no interception, and lost them both. So, um, I'm at a loss for words, believe it or not. In all the years I've been doing this, so its team just dumbfounds me. I think it's time for a change at the top. But we've said this before. If Zach Taylor is going to get fired, it's going to be because Joe Burrow insisted it. Mike Brown is never going to fire Zach and pay him not to play or not to coach. So I just shake my head. I'd
Yeah,
love to go get
I
like a
mean, I
Vrabel type of coach, a player's coach. I want a Dan Campbell type. And the closest thing out there sitting there not employed right now is Mike Vrabel. So I'd love to have Mike Vrabel. I don't think Mike Brown, if he even decided to do it, would hire Belichick because he wouldn't give Belichick the amount of control he would want to take the job. So I don't see them going out, and getting
I mean,
Bill.
I've been I've been Taylor's number one hater for years. I mean, during 2021, I was saying like we can't win with this guy. I was a little premature on it, but I mean, the last 3 years he's proven he's not a good head coach at all. But that was because the Bengals were winning in spite of him, and
Right.
he couldn't take them to the next level. Now it's over his head. I mean, this team is an absolute joke, and it's not just him; it's the defensive staff. I mean, I don't think Darren Simmons has been at the top of his game this year with his special teams, which has always been a strong part of the team. Obviously, Lou's going to get a lot of blame, but I'm not entirely sure how much blame Lou should get because we've seen in big spots this season when the Bengals have needed stops, we've seen those blitzes that have in past years gotten pressure and forced mistakes and gotten stops, and he's not gone away from those blitzes. Those blitzes just are not being executed. And then there's
Right.
obviously more stuff that I can point out that is Lou's fault. So some personnel stuff that's probably his fault. But the front office is like this team, the team that the Bengals have currently right now, um, has gotten exponentially worse since the Super Bowl year, and they have done a very shady job of setting up this roster when Joe Burrow's cap hit goes to $47 million next year.
Right. So, well, it's gonna be a tough offseason, and they've got to have a gut check. We've got to hit big in the draft. I don't know if they're willing to spend the money free agency wise, and we need to sign T and Chase. So there's a lot of work to be done if this team is gonna contend in the North. A lot of work to be done. So Joe can't throw it,
Yeah,
catch it, and play defense. So
I mean the good news is, and I'll say this maybe looking forward because they're most likely going to have a third place schedule, depending on I mean if they keep losing in the Browns steal one. Maybe we can get another fourth place schedule, but pretty much it's going to be another easier schedule than average next year. And the Bengals will be a very high floor team. Like if you replay this season with even with this current roster, they're not 4-8. I mean, if you replay all the games this season, they don't go 4-8. So I would argue the Bengals have a very high floor. That's if both Jamar and T. Higgins are on the field next year. So if they get those done, it's only up from there. They're going to be do a lot of positive regression in terms of turnovers and close games and luck, and everything that has to do with that. We've seen it time and time again with teams who get super unlucky the year before, and the next year they win ton of close games. Just happens. So that's going to happen. Um, it's not a complete rebuild. They just need to hit on a few draft picks and
right.
make find a safety and pray that one of these corners is good.
And get somebody who can stop up the middle. I mean, Rankins played today. Did I see him on the field for like a play or two? I did. I know he didn't record
No,
any.
I thought he was inactive with the illness.
Okay, I thought I
I
just
thought he was inactive with the
so did I.
illness.
So did I. But then I thought I saw him on the field. But maybe I was reading Jenkins, quickly and thought that said Rankins. I don't know. It's we need help up the middle. We can't shut anything down. I think the reason why we don't get to the quarterback on the blitzes is because we're not getting the pressure we got when we had Reader on the field. So, we're not stopping up the
Yeah,
result. So
and one
it's all hand in hand. In
one
terms.
last thing. Um, and I know we've given a lot of crap to the front office on this show, so I want to make it abundantly clear that I liked and agreed with a lot of the defensive draft picks that the Bengals took. I liked the Osai pick. I loved the Dax Hill pick. I liked the Miles Murphy pick. I thought the Chris Jenkins pick was good. Um, the DJ Turner pick was good at the time. It's not all Duke Tobin. I mean, he's not drafting bums. He's not drafting seventh round guys. He's not drafting Drew Sample in the second round on
Right.
defense. So at some point, who do you blame for literally all of these players? It's not just one bad egg, in a pack of good eggs. It's
Right.
all of them. None of them have developed. Obviously, injuries have played a big part of that. But where has Miles Murphy been? Chris Jenkins doesn't really look like he's a second round talent in year one. Um, Asai is already a free agent at the end of this season. We expect Turner to be the best of the bunch, and he's hurt. And
Right,
it took him two injuries to even play DJ Turner. I
right.
think Battle got hurt today too. I like that pick as well. So, I mean, they're not taking Middle Tennessee State linebackers in the third round. Like they're drafting college players with really really good stuff, and whose fault is it that they haven't developed? So it's a collective issue.
Yeah, I apologize. You've had like internet issues on your picture. The good news is your voice feed has been fine the whole time. So I just kind of let it go. So viewers will
Okay.
it kind of looks like a Monet painting sometimes the way you're moving, but but your audio stayed true the whole time. So I just let it go. Um, yeah, it's you're right. It's Turner turned out to be the cream of the crop, and that's not saying a lot, in terms of so
No, it's really not.
so uh you know we got now we'll see how this team responds next week, if they continue to play hard, but we're looking to the off season now. So I mean we can officially turn our sights to looking to how we finish out the year. Maybe see, is there anybody on our bench we need to see that hasn't gotten a lot of playing time outside of Burton? I mean, he needs to get on the field more, but just
No.
yeah,
I I would like to see Matt Lee play center. Whether Karras can go to guard or Matt Lee can play guard. I'm not entirely sure what they've worked on, but I would like Matt Lee to play.
yeah. Well, like I said, my big fear is that we win three of the next three games, and everybody says, "See, everything's all right," but those are all three mediocre teams. We haven't, at least the Browns beat the Steelers, the Browns beat the Ravens. In big games they were able to finish. We have not been able to beat a team with what did they say? We were 0-6 against teams with a winning record. Now we're 0-7. Um, and that's out of our eight losses. So just what could have been disappointing season for this team, and it's hurt watching. So it is what it is, right? So Jake, remind
Yeah.
everybody where they can find your stuff.
Yep. Jake Circus podcast on Spotify. Will set up tomorrow morning.
Okay. And like I said, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Support the channel. Hit the thumbs up. We'll be back with a preview of the Dallas game on Thursday. And with that, I'm going to say, hoot, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.